Calling this meeting to order. In attendance are Commissioners Brooks, Matari, and Duncan. Are there changes to the agenda? Hearing none. Conflicts of interest?
None.
Okay, hearing none. And no opening remarks today, no business items, so we're all the way here at deliberations. So, David not joining us today?
I don't know if he was planning on it or not.
Oh.
Maybe it was, but maybe
Okay,
held up for some reason.
all right. Well, we'll start with item 1, CUP 23. Oh, good, okay. I got it. I had an old agenda. 23-0008 Athol Baptist Church. And Amy.
Amy is not here this morning, so I'm going to be filling in for her.
Okay.
But a presentation has been prepared for you. It's for Athol Baptist Church. If you'd like me to go through that presentation, I'd be happy to do so.
Bill?
Nope.
All right.
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay. So they have met all the conditions for their conditional use permit, and there was no community issues. So is there a motion?
I move that we approve CUP 23-0008, the Athol Baptist Church. I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right. Item 2, CUP 23-0004 Black Lake Cell Site with Brooke.
Yeah, I'm prepared to go through a presentation on this if you guys would like.
I would like one.
All right. Thanks.
Okay, good.
All right, Brooks Sasser, Kootenai County Community Development, here to talk to you guys today about a wireless communication facility near Black Lake. The applicant is Weiss Towers LLC and Inland Cellular. This is Black Lake's kind of small in this photo, but star shows what part of the county that we're in, kind of in the Chain Lakes area. Project overview, this is a 150-foot tall lattice tower with an equipment shelter at the base. It's a relatively small leased area, 75 feet by 75 feet. And the goal of the project is to fill the gap of communication near Highway 3 and Black Lake. So the zoning map is agricultural and comprehensive plan designation is country. And here's a close-up of the site plan. The site is actually only the left half, the part highlighted in red. That was kind of a technicality. We discovered partway through the process that we didn't have quite the right layout, but that's the shape there with the leased area in green. Zoom up of the box with the equipment shelter and where the tower will be. This is using Google Earth, kind of trying to give you guys an idea of how the topography plays out in this area. The star is the location of the cell tower. We have Black Lake to the west, Trail of the Coeur d'Alene's kind of running horizontally across the screen, and then Highway 3. Cell tower, of course, is on top of a ridge. So Inland Cellular did provide a radio frequency map showing what coverage would look like after it was constructed. They did not provide a map of the existing coverage, the before map, because there is no cell service in the area now. And instead, they provided information from Cell Mapper showing what the current cell coverage in the area looks like. Cell Mapper is kind of a online website app that uses kind of crowdsourced information to show where people are picking up the best signals. And so these maps, there's a bit going on. The base color, the kind of like greenish brown, that That's just, there's no infrastructure or service documented. That's basically, there's no data there. Light green is the best quality cell signal, and red with the weakest. And the maps are broken out by carrier. We have Verizon on the left, AT&T on the top right, and T-Mobile on the bottom right. And if you can see the dots, black, purple, and yellow dots where the tower is, probably what's giving the best service in the area would be, I guess red is no coverage. So can dig into those more if you want. This would be the proposed coverage, this radio frequency map. Red is the best on this map. Orange is still good coverage, and then green is kind of getting into weaker coverage. With, again, the Trail to Coeur d'Alene's running horizontally and Highway 3 to the southeast. Applicant did provide photo simulations from 3 different spots, 2 different vantage points on Highway 3, and then 1 across the lake. Here are those photos. They're a little bit blurry, not great resolution, but as you can see, the cell tower is going to be gray, stick up a little bit above the trees, 150 feet tall.
Let me ask you a question about that.
Yeah.
Go back to that slide. I know a lot of people, we show these at the hearings, correct? I can see, because I can see well enough, that that is an arrow pointing down. Okay, some people might think that that's part of the tower.
Oh.
Is it possible to come in from the side and do this?
I don't know if that's even my arrow. That might have been the arrow they had provided.
You can see what I'm talking about. Huh? Oh, you did, see?
The top of the tower is
Yeah.
right here. This is the arrow.
Right, I can see.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the arrow.
That's something we could probably recommend that the
Pardon?
applicant. That's something we could recommend that the applicant.
Yeah.
Be mindful of, yeah.
Maybe put the arrow diagonally or something.
It's either a broken tower or an arrow.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
And so the view from the base seems to be pretty unlikely, and that was the conclusion of the report, that given the trees screening, that you'd really only tend to see the top of the tower. They didn't provide a simulation from the Trail to Coeur d'Alene's, but they did provide this photo showing what it would look like generally from the area of the base. You can see in this direction there is less vegetative screening. We sent this out for agency comment. East Side Highway District had their traditional comment that it needs an approach permit. Kootenai County Building Division need structural analysis done by an engineer and building permits at time of development. Federal Aviation Administration determined that this was not a hazard to air navigation and that marking and lighting were not necessary for aviation safety. The Idaho Transportation Department Division of Aeronautics also concurred with the FAA that there was not a hazard and just referred to FAA guidelines for any voluntary lighting that wasn't required by safety regulations. This site is within the institutional controls program for Panhandle Health District. PhD provided a letter saying that that soil had been tested and it was not contaminated, so no remedial action was necessary. Similar to ITD Aeronautics, Kootenai County Airport agreed with the FAA and again referred to forms to fill out. And there were no concerns from the Fire District, Panhandle Health District, Idaho Department of Parks and Recreation, which we solicited comments from based on the proximity to the trail, as well as Kootenai County Parks and Waterways. And we did not receive comment from Kootenai County Sheriff or from the Coeur d'Alene Tribe. We did, however, receive a letter of support from Red Spectrum Communications. That's the internet and service provider on the tribe. I don't know that the letter is meant to be taken as the tribe's official overall, like as a whole, word on the project, but Red Spectrum Communications did provide a supportive letter.
Right. 814 is a letter from the Tribal Sword Preservation Officer too.
Yes, thanks for adding that. They did provide a letter saying that there were not any cultural resources that would be in the area or damaged by the project. Thanks, Pat. Public comment, we only received 2 comments, one in support from a neighbor who wanted better cell coverage, and then one opposed that was concerned about the aesthetics in the area, health impacts from the tower, and then impact to some woodpeckers on his property. In analyzing this proposal, staff found that they provided a complete and sufficient application, that all the requirements and standards could be met. Staff did recommend that the tower be painted a neutral color to blend in with the landscape, something like green or brown. We did not see the need for any additional landscaping, given all the trees. Note that the Telecommunications Act prevents state and local regulation of such facilities to deny an application on the basis of environmental effects of radio frequency emissions to the extent such facilities comply with the FCC regulations. Overall, the applicant has demonstrated the lack in cell coverage in this area and how the proposal will benefit the public, so staff do recommend approval of the request. This is another map of the proposed coverage, so you can see the increase. And the hearing examiner did hear this in February and submitted a recommendation for approval. They agreed with our analysis with the exception of the condition of approval that the tower be painted a neutral color. The hearing examiner felt that galvanized steel was non-reflective, it was easier to maintain for the applicant, and that the gray would seem to blend in basically as well as brown or green. And here's our criteria for approving a conditional use permit. And again, staff believes that all these criteria have been met and recommend approval. And I'm happy to answer any questions you guys might have.
Do you have questions?
Yes. You mentioned that one person was for the tower because their service was weak. Was it weak or they didn't have service?
I would have to, I can pull it up and check real quick.
Commissioner Matari, Pat Braden, Civil Deputy Prosecutor for the record. The comment, which is at P1, states that we have lived near the proposed site since the early 1980s. We have never had cell service. It was mentioned that the tower may be visible from the bike trail. Many places on the trail and Highway 3 do not have service. This could help in the case of accidents or medical emergencies. I am strongly in support.
Okay. So, because there's obviously a difference between weak service and no service. So I just want to make sure that that's clear for the record. Thank you.
And then the one in opposition, how far away does that person live?
Well, they'd be within the 500-foot radius of the property in order to receive a postcard. I didn't look up their exact location, but I'm sure we can do that unless Pat's here to bail me out again.
26022 South Lake Ridge Road.
Yeah, it says she lives east of the site, up on the hill overlooking the tower location.
In one of the pictures, I could kind of see that name of that, but they're farther away than the resident who's within 1,000 feet. So that's just what I wanted to make sure, that there was somebody closer to the tower who does not have a problem with it.
Do you have the address for that, Pat?
26022. Yeah, I've got it as soon as you can get Casey Earth up.
Is that the AIN or?
No, we have an address. We have a street address. 26022 South Lake Ridge Road. And where's the tower site in relation to that?
The tower site is.
Looks like west of 3, yeah.
All right.
I think the neighbor in support was one of these properties.
Okay. Questions, comments?
Comments on, we've kind of stuck our foot in it by denying some of these cell tower requests based on what I believe to be pretty flimsy evidence, on a lot of anecdotal evidence. And what this does is invite anybody who thinks they can stop a cell tower. So until I see something other than anecdotal evidence, I'm pretty much in favor of cell towers.
Bruce?
Well, I think there's a difference between anecdotal evidence with respect to service and no service. It's established here that there is no service. Cell service is a utility. You cannot deny people a utility. There's a difference between when people already have access to service and they're adding more towers that doesn't necessarily bring service that didn't exist. And so in this particular situation, because there was no service and because people have a right to service, I am completely for having this cell tower.
And I would,
Excuse me, I wasn't talking about service. I was talking about the health concerns.
Yeah, well, I agree with you on the health concerns. We're precluded from looking at
Right,
that
but
in our
people always bring
decisions.
them up and they're always anecdotal.
Well, that's certainly their prerogative, but it's not our job to use that if we plan on making decisions that can withstand legal scrutiny.
well, I would agree on the lack of service in this area, and I would also agree that somebody closer to the tower is in reception of it. So it is compatible with neighborhood in this particular instance. So is there a motion?
I move that we approve CUP 23-0004 Black Lake Cell Site.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Matari.
Aye.
Chair Duncan.
Aye. All right. That's it. Meeting adjourned, 9:17. Thank you.